what is a lease option? Well, a lease option basically is an opportunity for an individual, a buyer, to enter into a contract with a seller. So, Steve, for example, you own a piece of property and I want to purchase this house from you, but I'm not bankable yet. And you have every intention of holding the property. So what I do is I enter into a lease option agreement with you where I give you a significant down payment. That's usually around the 5% mark, so let's call it $5,000. And I enter into a 2-year option with you where I agree to pay you $1,200 a month. Well, this same property you could rent to me, and I would give you first, last month in a security deposit, and then pay you $1,200 a month in rent, and then at the end of my lease, I get nothing in return. As opposed to the lease option, where I do the same exact thing, I give you an additional amount of money down, we agree to a 2-year term, and during that 2 years, you cannot sell the property to anybody. I'm in contract with you with that property. If the property appreciates in value, I get to reap the rewards of that appreciation, because during that 2 years, I basically control the property. So I reserve the right to buy it, and I reserve the right to sell it, but I have to buy you out first based on the predetermined sales price that you're giving to me. So I lease option the property from you for 2 years with $5,000 down payment, with a monthly payment of $1,200 per month at a pre-agreed sales price of X. So if you bought the house at $100,000, you might sell it to me a day later for $120,000 in a lease option. So I basically have 2 years to repair my credit. I've given you down payment of $5,000, which will be applied to that $120,000 purchase, and I have 2 years to buy you out. If I don't buy you out, and we get all the way to the end of that lease option term of 2 years, one of two things are going to happen. I'm either going to try to renew my arrangement with you or renegotiate a deal, or I'm going to walk away. If I walk away, then I forfeit that down payment. I've made my monthly payments on time, and I'm basically just not taking on the asset of the property anymore. I'm giving it back to you. There's no foreclosure. There's nothing, derogatory that happens at that point. It's really just the end of the contract. However, if I decide to exercise the option, then I now become the owner. Property becomes deeded to me. I buy you out, and if there's appreciation in the property, which there likely will be based on what the market is doing today, then I basically now own property again. It's a great deal, because if I'm renting my lease option, I'm actually achieving some appreciation. I'm achieving equity, and it's just a great deal, and I give great credit to do it. And that's really a major advantage given the forecast of many buyers today.
There's a truism in real estate, and basically with any transaction, that it has to be a win-win for both the buyer and the seller. What's the motivation for a home builder or for a homeowner to enter into an agreement like this with a buyer, where they give them control over the appreciation or potential appreciation in the property?
Yeah. Well, the major reason is because, again, as I said, the market is appreciating, and therefore property values are not as inexpensive for an investor as they used to be. In 2011, if I was an investor and I go out and I want to buy property, well, I've got a lot of room for that property to grow. I can buy it for really low, and I can turn around and sell it the next day and make an instant profit in what we formally call or casually call a flip. Okay, that, however, today is becoming more challenging because properties are not, there's not enough spread, right? So if I'm as an investor, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy property. Unless I'm buying that property really low, I'm not going to be able to sell it for that sizable spread and cash out and walk away and make that significant amount of cash up front. Not to mention that, but there's a lot of competition. There's a lot more investor buyers out there. So what was a good flip opportunity doesn't become a good flip opportunity because there's bidding wars on so many valuable properties that it basically pushes the price up, and it pushes it more from a wholesale price to a retail price. So if I'm a smart investor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy that property, I'm going to hold the property, because if I flip it, then I pay significant capital gain. We don't want to do that as an investor. So if I take the property and I can lease option it to somebody else, it's an unbelievable amount of cash flow. It's an incredible rate of return at the end of the first year. And it's just a really smart way for me to do business if I'm an investor, because I save tons of tax and I get great cash flow and I get a significant amount of upfront money with down payments that I'm getting from my buyer. So it's a great avenue for that person to engage themselves in a transaction like that. It's just really smart investing.